Hey everyone, welcome back. This time I'm gonna do a review over a film I just got done watching. I would like to get it on DVD, but sadly it's apparently rare, hard to find, stuff like that. The movie is Lady Death, of course based off of the comic book Lady Death by Brian Pulido. Hopefully I pronounced that right. If leave a comment below saying how it's pronounced or whatever. I will leave a link to the full movie down below because I watched it here on YouTube. Hopefully, I don't get flagged because I will really hate it if I get flagged because I think people should know about this movie for those who are fans of comic book movies. So sit back and enjoy my review. First off, we get introduced to Hope. Uh, she's leading an army of undead soldiers, and it's supposed to take place in like present day. And what happens is it cuts in close to her boobs. So then what happens is it cuts to 1460. Um, we get introduced to Ernie Fairchild, or Ernest Fairchild, aka Evil Ernie. We do not see him as Evil Ernie in this movie, um, sadly. This is all about Lady Death. I think Purgatory was in a part of this movie. I might be wrong. Uh, I just watched it and I forget the beginning of it. But anyways, we get introduced to these big evangelists. They're big on hating anything having to do with witchcraft and demons. And Hope's father is actually Lucifer. Now, Lucifer, this incarnation of him, I mean, I know that's the way he is in the comic book. I've read a couple pages of the comic book. Uh, I know how he is in the comic book is the same way he is in this movie. He's really evil. You don't want to fuck with him, and he's really huge, like incredibly huge. Like one minute he's like pretty huge, and then the next minute he's like 30 feet tall, and he likes to change his size. So, anyways, Hope and her boyfriend Niccolo. At first, I thought it was going to be Nikolai until she said the full name. They're just out there enjoying the sun, just enjoying life, kissing, making out. And Lucifer comes along. Lucifer ends up cock blocking Niccolo, basically, and stealing him. Niccolo is a former student of doctor, not doctorate, but doctors, uh, medical student, former medical student. And Lucifer responds with, well, our army needs more surgeons. And Niccolo's like, but I'm not a surgeon. And Lucifer, the thing about Lucifer that pissed me off, he doesn't want to listen, even though it's going to fuck up his plans. He doesn't listen. And if if I was the devil and my plans were about to be fucked up, I'd want to listen to what the person has to say. So, anyways, what happens is, even though surgeons don't fuck up his plan or anything like that, but anyways, uh, he gets kidnapped pretty much by Lucifer and his gang or soldiers, and we cut to Hope dreaming and everything, uh, and then she dreams of Niccolo, and she dreams he gets killed. And it turns out he ends up getting killed in reality. So what happens next? Uh, Hope decides to go into the basement. And here's where things get really interesting in my eyes. Um, Lucifer, I forget what his human name is, but of course we know him as Lucifer. Uh, Lucifer's doing a chant, and all these green souls are coming into him, and then they're bursting out like tentacles. Not really tentacles with suctions or anything, but like big tentacle-like shapes. And what happens is a huge beast comes out of him, and Hope is seeing everything, and she's like, "Oh my god!" And she's like, "I've got to do something." And what happens next? An angry mob of evangelists, like I said, uh, people who really hate the devil and whatever, end up bursting through the door and saying, "We are going to kill you." Pretty much that's what they say. And what happens is the big hulking beast of Lucifer chops them up. Not with an axe or a hammer or anything like that, but with his fists. And just, with his powers, just annihilates them all. But the leader of the evangelist manages to escape with Hope. Um, and Hope, I like her. I think she's a good character. So Hope is put on a trial for witchcraft because she didn't die in the blast. And Hope has no clue why. So what happens is they burn her as a witch, and while she's seeing all this happen, well, feeling all of the fire around her, she sees a vision of Niccolo. And Niccolo tells her, "You know what? You'll need to say the chant if you want to be immortal." Uh, and what happens is she says the chant after burning, her skin burns off. After the skin burns off, she decides to say the chant. Goes straight to hell. She goes straight to hell, Spawn style. And I like it. I thought the skin removal was pretty cool. For an animated film, this was awesome. Um, I don't like a whole lot of animated comic book films other than Spawn. Um, the reason being they don't really capture the comic book too well. But here I think they did it pretty well. Like I said, I didn't read any of the Lady Death comic books, just a little bit. And what happens is, uh, she ends up going to hell and ends up coming face to face with Lucifer. And on one side is Niccolo in like this glass container, and on the right side is Hope's mom, who's also in a glass container in some kind of green liquid. It might be light green light, or it might be green liquid. I could be wrong. But anyways, uh, Hope is pretty much sentenced to death. And how can you be sentenced to death in hell? I've never been to hell, and I don't think anybody's ever been to hell and come back to tell the tale. But I'm sure that you wouldn't die, you'd just be tortured for all eternity. Just keep on dying and dying and dying, but keep on getting tortured. So what happens is, Hope is running downriver, like drifting, and she finally gets to land, and two wolves, end up attacking her. So Hope grabs a sword and slices them up. Well, doesn't really slice them up, pushes them back with the sword. Um, and her hair starts to turn white. And I'm like, ooh, this is getting good. And then she meets, I forget his name. He's like a barbarian demon. Not really full-fledged demon, but a barbarian slave of hell. So, he wants to destroy Lucifer because his wife, he had to kill his wife for Lucifer, which this kind of reminds me of God of War. If anybody remembers God of War's storyline, Kratos killed his wife and blamed Ares. So what happens is um, they start talking, and then what happens is they go through training, and uh, Hope takes the sword and just starts slicing and slicing, and the barbarian dude is slicing too. And what happens is uh, Hope ends up chaining lightning to her sword and shoots out lightning. It's kind of hard to explain it unless you've seen the film. Um, and what happens is her hair starts to turn white even more. And she's starting to lose some of her clothes. And I'm like, okay. So, what happens next? When she takes impact sword to sword, the barbarian sword breaks, but hers breaks too, but it breaks right after the impact. So then she decides to pretty much Hulk out. Not really Hulk out, but kind of get her powers in order. All her hair turns white. Her eyes are zombie-like, no pupils or anything, no veins, no nothing like that. And her skin starts to turn white, and her fingernails start to grow long. Not long like coming out to here, but long like dominatrix kind of long fingernails. And that's what she looks like. She looks like a dominatrix when she turns into a demon. So what happens is her skin turns white, her clothes end up morphing into like a bikini type of thing. She's got a skull in her crotchal region. It's got skulls right on her bras right here. Um, she gets a cape, and I'm like, now that's my kind of girl. And what happens next? She decides Hope doesn't exist anymore. I am now Lady Death. And there's where you get your main character of Lady Death. So, pretty much the plan is kill Lucifer and become the owner of hell, pretty much. So, what happens is they plan an attack on Lucifer, and I'm not going to go into any more out of sake for not spoiling it, because I don't want to spoil the rest of it, because it gets really good after that. But I will admit there is a sad part in it. And for those who have seen it know what I'm talking about. There is a sad part. I didn't cry, but I did, however, say, what the fuck, man? What the fuck? So, I am definitely going to buy some of the comics. I think this is a great introduction for me to Lady Death. The movie came out in 2004, and a lot of people like it. A lot of people say it's like Heavy Metal and Heavy Metal 2000. I've never seen those, but I've seen the art style for them, and yeah, the art style looks similar. Very similar, actually. And I I see no problems with this film. Like, not even that sad part is a problem. This movie was great. I think it is well worth deserving of 4 out of 5s, 8 out of 10s. But IMDb, you son of a bitches, they gave it a 4.9 out of 10. Oh, what the fuck? I give this movie a 10 out of 10. I found nothing wrong with it, and I had a blast watching it. And before I go, I will show people Lady Death in case I didn't show it in my last video. Here we are. Evil Learning. I read the book, by the way. It is a really good issue. I'm gonna have to get some more Evil Learning books. Maybe I'll save up a lot of money and get, like, Youth Gone Wild and whatever. But Lady Death should be somewhere. Great artwork right here. Oh, and by the way, if you want gore in your cartoons, Lady Death is definitely delivers the gore. Here we are, Lady Death. Yep, there she is. Beautiful, isn't she? Purgatory, I've never read any of her comic books. Homicide, I used to own one, but I don't know what happened to it. It got ripped up, I know that. But it had a couple of pages that were salvageable. So, anyways, 10 out of 10. Definitely see this film. It's well worth your time if you're a comic book fan or a Lady Death fan. I am now a Lady Death fan because I respect Chaos for what they have to offer. I love Evil Ernie, so I'm gonna give Lady Death a shot whenever I get around to going to the comic book store again. So, Evil Ernie, check this issue out. It introduces you a little to Evil Ernie and who he is. Ernest Fairchild. They need to make a movie of him. So, anyways, 10 out of 10. See this movie. I'm gonna leave a link below. Click it, watch it, enjoy it. Oh, and for the PS3 users, watch it on your PS3. So, I'm out. Peace.